Good morning, Man Hour Nation. Welcome to live, raw, uncut sports talk on this August 30th edition, 2023. NFL rosters have been set. Some surprises have been made. It's time to overreact to them. But as always, we gotta stretch those arms, wipe the sleep out our eyes. But first.
And now, Mike's thoughts.
My man Luke G out there, the Luke G Field Reviews, puts on one of the best, the best Lions podcast out there. I was in his show last night. I was talking to him through via chat. He is a very interactive guy in there. If you guys are a Detroit Lions fan, I'd recommend you checking it out. But my man Luke G was very, very upset last night. He was upset that the NFL Network basically called out his Detroit Lions. Basically said that his Detroit Lions were suspect at best. Basically said his Detroit Lions were like an Uncle Lenny. And Uncle Lenny meaning like, we don't really like Uncle Lenny. He comes up to Thanksgiving all sloppy and yada, yada, yada. Long story short, they said Uncle Lenny has cleaned up. Uncle Lenny has a nice new haircut, got his shirt tucked in, not looking too shabby. Luke G and his panel of cast that he had on there, a great panel, by the way. Those guys do fantastic work. They were upset. They was pissed. Luke G was trying to eat his ketchup and getting all angry about it. But guys, it makes me wonder, are the Lions being overlooked? Are the Detroit Lions kind of like the redheaded stepchild? Nobody wants to talk about them until they're doing good. Let's just be honest. I said it in the chat last night. I'll stick to it again here, Luke G. I said the only reason why the Detroit Lions are on the news right now because they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs week 1. I said it. I said what I said. But is the NFL trying to shove a good Detroit Lions team down our throat a little too much? Is the NFL trying to boost these Detroit Lions up? Is the NFL trying to make a Cinderella team when there's not a Cinderella team there? A lot is riding on week 1 for the Denver Broncos. Let's look like week 1 last year. LA Rams versus the Buffalo Bills. Everybody was like, oh, it's best game of the year, yada, 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 going to be great. Rams sucked and the Bills were going to be 17-0, right? What's going to happen this year? I'm kind of curious. Kind of pondering thoughts here. But we got to cue that intro.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckheischer here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhour.co. Check out the blog page. Check out the merchandise page. And I'm working on stats as well over there, guys. I am working on some stats, some rosters, some scores, some transactions, some injury news. Everything's happening over there at manhourradio.com or manhour.co. Whatever website you prefer to go to, they take you to the same place. Same lovely place each and every day. It doesn't matter what you go to. But guys, it is Overreaction Wednesday. The Hump Day Blues is here, and we have to overreact or underreact to some things that happen on Transaction Tuesday. The NFL rosters have officially been cut down to 53-man rosters, 16 players on the practice squad, a little bit of pup list. There have been some surprises across the board. We have to dive back into the New England thing. Mac Jones, the Lone Ranger at the top. We got to talk about that. Joe Burrow, not practicing next week. What? Jonathan Taylor bet to miss 4 games. Von Miller on the pup list as well. Jerry Jones said he would rather have Jalen Hurts. What? What is he talking about here? But as always, we start with the lead block. As I said, guys, the NFL roster has been cut down to 53 guys over the last 24 hours, right? 4 p.m. East Coast time Tuesday was the roster cut down point there. And there's been a lot of transactions, a lot of been a move. So if you guys want to know what your team roster looks like, I encourage you to go to the MinnesotaVikings.com and check it out, because they have all their transaction moves at their said website. But the Minnesota Vikings have signed running back, ex-Miami Dolphins running back, Myles Gaskins. A nice little 1-2 punch there in the Minnesota Viking land. The Falcons have released J.J. Whiteside. I guess they didn't want a little bit of white on their side, but he is out. Free agent. Buffalo Bills safety DeMar Hamlin did make the 53-man roster. Not really a surprise, but it's news. We got to talk about it. This man basically died out on the field and is playing football before Michael Thomas. Bears. After releasing P.J. Walker, Nathan Peterman was going to be their guy, quarterback number 2. But they said, you know what, Nathan Peterman, get out of town. They have released Nathan Peterman as well, so the Bears are down to a 2-quarterback system as well. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Will Geer has been released to make room for Trey Lance. I guess I was wrong about Trey Lance. Trey Lance will not be on the practice squad. Looks like Trey Lance will be on the active roster, maybe an emergency quarterback. But Will Geer has been released by the Dallas Cowboys. Kansas City Chiefs have traded for defensive tackle Neil Farrell from the Raiders for a 5th-round pick. Chris Jones is still holding out. I guess you got to add a little bit of pass rusher help if you want to be successful, I guess, the first 8 weeks of the season. I don't know. We'll see about that. Raiders have cut Damian Williams after signing him just a few weeks ago, but also Josh Jacobs wasn't back. Now that Josh Jacobs is back, obviously that running back room is crowded. Damian Williams, you are out. Miami Dolphins wide receiver Cedric Williams has reworked his contract to stay a part of the Miami Dolphins. I do love this move. Now, Cedric Wilson Jr. kind of having a fallout out with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he is back with the Miami Dolphins. Reworked contract, $5 million this season. He's going to be a solid number 3 receiver for them. Bucks have officially placed their center Ryan Jensen on season-ending IR. Get those words out. That's a huge loss for them. We've already talked about that. And Washington Commanders quarterback Jake Fromm has been released. Sam Howell and Joey Brissett will round out that quarterback room. It is Sam Howell's time to sign. Jake Fromm, you are out. What a fall grace from QB1 days, huh? What a far fall from grace for QB1 there, Jake Fromm. But guys, like I said, it is Overreaction Wednesday. We've been scouring the old interwebs and we see what is popping, what is not, and we're going to overreact to it or underreact to it. We're going to tell you if it's an overreaction or underreaction. How should you react? And I want you in the chat to tell me how you would react as well. Because at the end of the day, sharing is caring. Comment is caring. Guys, like, comment, and subscribe, whatever platform you listen to us on, because it would help the show out tremendously. But, excuse me, allergies are running rampant in the Buckhouse. Other half is out for the count. Kids have got snotty noses, and I got a sore throat. It's coming down. It better not be the old vid. Is the vid making a comeback? I hear it is, but we'll see. We'll see about that. But let's get into today's show, guys. Like I said, it is Overreaction Wednesday. We've been scouring the old Twitter machine. We've been scouring the interwebs. We've been posting things up on our Facebook groups, and we've been seeing how people have been reacting to it. And I'm going to tell you if your overreaction is warranted or if you are a little bit underreacting to it. If you need to, ramp it up. Hey, this is exciting news, right? This is a big thing. But let's start with the news that has kind of shocked the NFL world. The news that has taken everybody and their dog by surprise. Maybe Bill Belichick, that dog, didn't get taken by surprise because maybe he's making all those moves. But the New England Patriots have officially released, waived, whatever you want to refer to it as, Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham, leaving literally one quarterback on their roster. Mac Jones is the only quarterback on the New England Patriots roster right now. The 53-man roster, one quarterback. So many people are in support of this move. Many players are in support of Mac Jones, saying, yeah, he's our guy. Why do we need more quarterbacks? I don't know, injuries, but whatever, we digress. So it is a over or under reaction that Bill Belichick has literally put the team on Mac Jones's shoulders. When we think about this, guys, you can always make transactions to your team, right? Just because you have the initial 53-man roster with one quarterback doesn't mean that somebody can't get cut, move down to practice squad, bring somebody up, trade for somebody. There were a lot of quarterbacks that were released that are valuable backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Colt McCoy comes to mind. Will Gear comes to mind. Jake Fromm out there, right? So this is a little bit of overreaction. I overreacted to it last night on the After Hours show. I was like, what is Bill Belichick doing? He is being stupid. But I got to sleep on it. I got to sit back. I got to digest everything, right? And I have to tend to agree with some people were saying in the chat last night. I have to agree that some people were saying, you know what? This is just Bill Belichick installing confidence in Mac Jones. This is just Bill Belichick being Bill Belichick to, take the pressure off of somebody else, right? Put the spotlight on somebody else. Now, I do agree that he is maybe putting too much spotlight on Mac Jones, too much pressure on Mac Jones, making him answer all of these questions. But maybe this is Bill Belichick getting back to him from last year from reaching out to other offensive coordinators. Maybe this is Bill Belichick saying, hey, you want to be the guy, then you be the guy. But with that being said, guys, stop overreacting to it. There will be a second quarterback on the roster come week 1. This is just the initial 53-man roster. There's still going to be transactions out there. There's still going to be moves. There's still going to be trades. There's going to still be acquisitions and releases and all that stuff. Just the rosters you just had to have a 53-man cap on Tuesday at 4 p.m. It just had to happen. So when we think about this, other quarterbacks that could possibly become a New England Patriot. When we sit back down and we look at it, obviously they're going to have a QB2 on the roster at some point. Obviously, they are going to make some type of transaction in the next week. If they don't, Bill Belichick has completely lost his mind. But what kind of quarterback are you going to be looking for? To me, I want a quarterback that's going to kind of help Mac Jones grow. I want a quarterback that can come in there if Mac Jones happens to go down, can be a very serviceable quarterback for the next couple weeks till Mac Jones gets his ankle healed or whatever, right? And we're not going to change the play calling 100%. I feel that's why Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham were both released, because they do not match the Mac Jones play style at all. Two complete different playing styles, two different complete play calling sheets is just a disaster. It is hard on a team to do that. So, looking at Mac Jones, looking at some potential free agent acquisitions that they could add there. When I'm looking for a backup quarterback, I'm looking somebody that could be a serviceable backup. Looking for somebody that kind of mirrors Mac Jones's playing style. Looking for somebody that could mentor Mac Jones, teach him how to be a professional, help him prepare all that good stuff, and not a cancer in the locker room. Those four things, when I think about this, I think of one guy, and I think of one guy that the New England Patriots need to go out and get right now. That guy has the name of Colt McCoy. I think Colt McCoy would be perfect in New England. The Arizona Cardinals basically told Colt McCoy, either you are going to be our starter or we're going to cut you. They cut him. He's a free agent. Colt McCoy would be perfect in New England. 37 years old, playing style like Mac Jones, not going to run around the field because he's 37, right? Can mentor a guy. He's been around the block. He was a starter for the Arizona Cardinals last year, which should have been starter this year, but we digress from that. Guys, Colt McCoy to the New England Patriots makes perfect sense. Hell, Jake Fromm to New England kind of makes perfect sense as well. I haven't watched a lot of Jake Fromm. I know he's bounced around teams like a little bit. He was with the Buffalo Bills, and I think he was with the Miami Dolphins last season. And now he was obviously released from the who was it here, the Commanders. But Colt McCoy to New England, just put the writing on the wall. Put the writing on the wall. Those guys are there. They are there and ready to make some magic happen. Let's move on. Let's stay in the AFC. Let's head over to the West a little bit. Maybe a couple 100 miles, 600-700 miles or so. Let's head to Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio, to be exact. The orange and black, the Tiger Stripes, #rule the jungle. Bengals head coach Zach Taylor says we'll see on Joe Burrow practicing this week. With that being said, guys, is it an overreaction that Joe Burrow may not be practicing this week? So obviously, Joe Burrow suffered a calf strain just a month ago, right? It was in practice. He was rolling out to the right. It kind of looked like a cramp, but looks like some type of calf strain. And he's been out ever since. Jamar Chase went on the NFL Network like the very next day, like, hey, Joe Burrow, we don't need you week 1. We don't need you week 2 or week 3 or week 4. Be ready for week 5. Be ready for week 5, and then we will do work. So, guys, is it an overreaction that Joe Burrow will not be practicing this week? Or, quote, we'll see if he's practicing this week. Joe Burrow will have a little bit of rust on his body. Joe Burrow will need to get as many reps as he can with the first team guys moving forward. Now, historically, it always takes offenses a few weeks to really get into rhythm, right? Game speed is a lot different than practice speed. Preseason speed is a lot different than actual NFL game speed, right? With that being said, I am kind of concerned that Joe Burrow is not practicing this week. It is not an overreaction. Bengals fans, it is a real possibility that Joe Burrow might miss week 1. It's a real possibility that Joe Burrow might miss week 2. And with how crowded the AFC North is going to be, you open the year up on the road in Cleveland versus the Browns. I mean, I don't want to say it's a must win, but you can't afford to give away any wins in the division, especially if you want to be a first round bye and win the division. It is concerning that Joe Burrow may not play week 1. I mean, I have never had a calf strain, but I feel like it shouldn't take 10, 11 weeks for it to heal. What are they not telling us? Seriously, you should be concerned. John, I see your comments, man, and I am going to address them right now. He says, man hour. So how long before Trey Lance takes Dak Prescott's job? Let me sit back and contemplate this, my man. He says, how long before Trey Lance takes Dak Prescott's job? So, previously, I said that Trey Lance has no chance of taking Dak Prescott's job. I thought that Will Geer had a roster lock spot on the Dallas Cowboys and Trey Lance was going to be put on the practice squad. But obviously, when you get put on the practice squad, you have the ability to, other teams have the ability to pick players off of their practice squad, right? And what we saw happen in New England, I think Bill Belichick may have been banking on Trey Lance being put on the practice squad. Therefore, he made quarterback room for him and going to cherry pick Mr. Trey Lance and put him on his roster. Obviously, that did not happen. Will Geer has been cut. QB3 is with Trey Lance right now. I think at some point he will be catapulted up to QB2 to over Cooper Rush. And beyond that, I do not see Trey Lance taking Dak Prescott's job unless, caveat, asterisk here, hashtag waffle, unless Dak Prescott has a slew of bad games. I'm talking like 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row where the Dallas Cowboys just do not look good. And it's all going to be on Dak Prescott's shoulders. Now, Dak Prescott can put up the numbers, put up the stats, whatever. But if the Dallas Cowboys just don't look good doing it, then you can possibly see a change. So you do have to realize that Trey Lance has only been in this offense for less than a week, right? Hell, I don't think he's even practiced yet with the Dallas Cowboys. So this is all speculation. This is all shooting from the hip. This is all just knowing how the system works, right? There is a bye week coming up for the Dallas Cowboys. At that point, I don't know when the bye week is, but at that point, if Trey Lance were to take Dak Prescott's job, which I don't think he will, but I'm saying if that were to happen, it would be a bye week transaction. John says it's week 4 for the bye week. So yeah, Dak Prescott really has to come out and shit the bed. I'm talking, or get injured, which we don't wish injury on anybody here on the Man Hour, but I do not see Trey Lance taking Dak Prescott's job this season. Now, if we look beyond, if we want to speculate, if we want to play the what-if game, what if the Dallas Cowboys go 7-10 this season? What if the Dallas Cowboys miss the playoffs? What if Dak Prescott throws for another 15, 16, 20 interceptions with the same number of touchdowns? What if the Dallas Cowboys offense just doesn't look very good? If the Dallas Cowboys, big if there, are out of playoff competition at any part of the season, let's say by week 14, there's no chance that they can make the playoffs, right? Then we will see Trey Lance. So the only time we will see Trey Lance's 2020-23 is if Dak gets hurt, if he 100% shits the bed, which I don't see that happening, or if the Dallas Cowboys are out of playoff competition at some point during the season. Because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Dak Prescott is kind of on a contract year, right? I think he has like an opt-in 1 year thing type of thing left. So technically 2 years on it. But Dak Prescott could be on a short lease. Could be. But a wise person once said, who makes the best, basically, iron sharpens iron. I'm a firm believer of that. Iron sharpens iron. Dak Prescott is going to come out and going to push, Trey Lance is going to come out every day and push Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush is going to come out every day and push Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's going to push Cooper Rush, going to push Trey Lance. Dak Prescott's not losing his job this season because the Dallas Cowboys are Super Bowl bound. Super Bowl bound. It says bye, Dak. I don't think so. It says, hey, are you guys going to run picks this season? If so, I am in. Yes, sir, we are. We do the picks. Every 2 days before the games, we post it up on the Facebook page like we have the polls. But if you're referring to the app, I'm still working on the app. I'm still trying to iron it out. I am no coder by any means. Coding is not my second language. It's like my fifth language. So I'm trying to figure it out. But if we get the app up and going, you will definitely know. I'll be posting it and promoting it on the page, obviously. But as always, we do the emoji pics, right? The hearts or the laughy faces and, yada, yada, yada. So we will have that. One more thing here. John says, he starts great every year, then he gets full of himself and goes to the shutter. So let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I actually have them as number 5 here, so we'll go ahead and bring that up here, right? So last year when Dak Prescott went down, early in the season, like week 3 to week 7 or something like just like that, they had a slew of tough games. They played like the Giants and the Eagles and maybe like the Buffalo Bills. Like they had a slew of tough games. They ended up going 2-2 in that stretch. Cooper Rush is a very serviceable backup quarterback, that's exactly what he is, a very serviceable backup quarterback. The difference between that Dallas Cowboys team and then when Dak Prescott came back is Kellen Moore, no longer OC there, which is a great move by the Dallas Cowboys, by the way. They had a very conservative play calling approach. They said, Cooper Rush, you are going to manage the game for us. You are not going to lose the game for us, but you're not going to win us the game either. We just want you to nickel and dime it down the field, give the ball to Zeke, give the ball to Tony Pollard, let them eat, and you're going to pass 20 times. That is the type of quarterback that Dak Prescott is. Kellen Moore wanted Dak Prescott to throw the ball all over the field. Kellen Moore wanted to put up 30, 40 points a game. Why? You have arguably one of the best defenses in the NFL, and you want to put up 30, 40 points? No. Nickel and dime it down the field, keep the opposing team's offense off of the field. A best defense is a ball controlling offense, right? Then you put out a fresh, hungry defense that gets a 3 and out, and then you do another 7-minute drive. Now all of a sudden, their offense is struggling. Their offense has their buttholes puckered. They're like, man, we got to score now. We got to score quick because they're going to control the ball. If we don't get a touchdown now, this defense is going to shut us down. That's exactly what the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott need to do this season. They need to nickel and dime down the field. They need to control the offensive clock. They need a positive time possession each and every game this season. 60-40, 70-30. They need to use and abuse Tony Pollard, Deuce Vaughn, Rojo. They need to use and abuse those guys over and over and over. If they're not rushing 20-plus times a game, something is wrong. Dak Prescott is a game-managing quarterback. Understand that. People need to get up there in their head. Excuse me. Dak Prescott is not a Patrick Mahomes. Dak Prescott is not a Aaron Rodgers. Dak Prescott is not one of those guys that needs to throw the ball 40-plus times a game. Dak Prescott is not one of those guys that you consistently needs to pass the ball over and over and over. Yes, you do have a very talented wide receiver core. Running the ball and defense wins championships. Even this year's NFL, running the ball and defense wins championships. And that's exactly what I want to talk about. Jerry Jones, in an interview about the whole Trey Lance thing, right, says that he would have drafted Jalen Hurts if he would have dropped down to him. Obviously was very unwarranted, unsolicited comment here. Typical Jerry Jones, right? Last night on the After Hours show, we were literally just talking about how great of an owner Jerry Jones was, and then he wants to go and do this crap. So is it an overreaction that Jerry Jones is maybe putting too much pressure on Dak Prescott right now? Because of the addition of Trey Lance, because of the comments of Jalen Hurts, does Dak Prescott have one foot out the door now? Is it a must-win now situation for the Dallas Cowboys? Absolutely. The Dallas Cowboys are a must-win now situation. And John says, final 8. So I'm assuming you're referring to the Dallas Cowboys. So are you saying that the Dallas Cowboys have to win a playoff game to be in the division championship to keep Dak Prescott out? Like, what are you referring to the final 8 here, John? Kind of clear that out, and we'll definitely answer that for you. And he says Dak Prescott needs to stay confident. He gets too much in his own head. So any player can be as confident as they want. Everybody can have an ego, confidence, a swag about them, but when people are consistently beating you down time after time after time, oh, you led the league in interceptions. You're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. It takes a very strong person to not get into your own head. That is when a veteran coach, that is when leadership around you helps you out. Good team. So my job as a coach is to beat you down. My job as a coach is to point out your flaws, saying you need to improve this, 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 and this, and this, right? And then it is a job as a player, as a teammate, to lift that player back up. Build him up so we can break you back down. Build that foundation stronger so it keeps rising, right? Right now, Dak Prescott does not have that around him. Maybe Trey Lance will be that guy. Maybe Micah Parsons can step up and be that guy. But yes, he does need to kind of stay confident. He needs to say, F the world. It's my team. I'm going to do it my way. I don't care if I throw an interception or not. I'll be fine. Many other quarterbacks throw interceptions. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the league leader in red zone interceptions. But what does he do? Keep slinging the rock. I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. But with that being said, guys, my voice is just about shot. These allergies are kicking my butt. In the Buck household, the allergies are just... We do have a lot more show planned. I got 2 more pages worth of show, guys. But I got to cut it short today. We'll be breaking down the teams tomorrow, breaking down games tomorrow. I'll give you guys 5 teams tomorrow, 5 teams on Friday, and then the rest of the NFL Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as we get into Kansas City Chiefs versus Detroit Lions coming up in just 6 days. No, 8 days. I'm sorry, 8 days. Guys, we out. I'm out. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place, 10 a.m. East Coast time, right here. See you tomorrow.